Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the bridge of the Terra Nova, her fingers drumming against the captain's chair. After 6 months of deep space exploration, the crew had settled into a comfortable routine of scanning, documenting, and dreaming about first contact. Their ship, humanity's pride and joy, carried the hopes of Earth along with its 200 crew members. "Doctor, we're picking up unusual readings in Sector 7, Lieutenant Rodriguez announced, his eyes fixed on the holographic display. "It's like nothing we've seen before." Sarah straightened her uniform and nodded. "Show me." The main screen flickered to life, displaying a massive crystalline structure that definitely wasn't an asteroid. As they watched, the structure moved with deliberate precision, adjusting its course to intercept them. "Battle stations," Rodriguez suggested, his hand hovering over the alert system. "Not yet," Sarah replied, remembering her first contact training. "Let's follow protocol. Open all standard frequencies and broadcast the peace message." The crew held their breath as the crystalline vessel approached. It dwarfed the Terra Nova, its faceted surface reflecting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. The ship's automatic translation system crackled to life, processing the incoming signal. "Greetings, tiny carbon structures." The alien voice sounded delighted. "We are the Zentari. Please remain stationary while we capture your image." Sarah blinked. "I'm sorry." "What?" The massive ship maneuvered around them with surprising grace. "Oh, they respond so quickly. Look at their adaptive reaction times. Simply precious." The bridge crew exchanged confused glances as more Zentari voices joined the conversation. "Their thermal signatures are perfectly regulated. Such efficient little beings. The way they arrange their command structure, utterly charming." Sarah cleared her throat. "This is Dr. Sarah Chen of the Earth vessel Terra Nova. We come in peace and seek diplomatic relations." A collective sound of joy came through the speakers. "It uses formal communication patterns. Quick, record this." The Zentari ship's external lights began flashing in what they later learned was their version of taking pictures. The crystalline beings, as they discovered during their first face-to-face meeting, stood over 8 feet tall and communicated through light patterns within their transparent bodies. Would the tiny carbon beings permit us to establish a more permanent diplomatic presence? The Zentari ambassador's body sparkled with excitement. "We simply must study your admirable binary decision-making processes." Sarah managed to maintain her composure, though she could hear muffled laughter from her crew. "We would be honored to discuss diplomatic relations." It accepted. "Did you see how the sound waves modulated with authority? Fascinating." The ambassador's crystalline form glowed brighter. "We must share this with the Galactic Council immediately." Within hours, the Terra Nova's mission had completely transformed. Instead of searching for alien life, they found themselves being thoroughly documented by enthusiastic crystalline beings who treated every human action as a remarkable discovery. "Doctor," Rodriguez whispered as they prepared for their first official meeting, "I don't think the Academy prepared us for this." Sarah watched as a group of Zentari excitedly recorded the crew's coffee break, calling it a synchronized energy restoration ritual. "No, Lieutenant," she replied with a smile. "I don't believe they did. But somehow, I think this is better than any first contact scenario we could have imagined." Representative James Okonjo adjusted his formal diplomatic attire as he stood before the towering doors of the Galactic Council chamber. His dreadlocks, carefully maintained and adorned with traditional Nigerian beads, cascaded past his shoulders. After the Zentari's unexpected fondness for humanity, Earth's diplomatic corps had chosen him for his extensive experience in interspecies negotiations. "Remember," his AI assistant whispered through his earpiece, "the Muru delegation holds 3 of the 9 council seats. Their support is crucial for Earth's membership petition." James nodded slightly, taking a deep breath as the massive doors swung open. The council chamber stretched upward for what seemed like miles, its crystalline walls reflecting the light of distant stars. Various alien species occupied their designated areas, but the Murrow representatives immediately caught his attention. They resembled Earth's big cats scaled up to incredible proportions, their sleek forms draped in shimmering ceremonial robes. Each Murrow stood nearly 12 feet tall, their fur patterns shifting with iridescent colors that seemed to dance in the starlight. Presenting Representative James Okonjo of Earth, the Chamber's announcement system declared. James stepped forward, his practiced speech ready. "Honorable members of the Council, I come before you today." By the ancient suns, one of the Murrow councillors interrupted, leaning forward in their seat. "Are those natural growth patterns on their head?" Another Murrow councillor's ears perked up. "Such intricate arrangements. How do they maintain such perfect symmetry?" James paused, momentarily thrown off balance. "My hair." The third Murrow councillor, Senior Ambassador K3, descended from their elevated position with surprising grace. "Representative Okonjo, would you permit a closer inspection of your remarkable cranial adornments?" The Chamber's protocol officer looked flustered. "Senior Ambassador, the traditional procedure for—" Yes. K3 waved a massive paw dismissively, now circling James with undisguised fascination. "But look at how the strands catch the light. Each one moves independently yet in perfect harmony with the others." James maintained his diplomatic composure, though he could feel a smile tugging at his lips. "The style is traditional to my culture on Earth, Ambassador." This statement caused a ripple of excitement through all three Murrow representatives. K3's tail swished with obvious delight. "Your entire species practices such artistic expression." "We have many different styles and traditions," James explained, seeing an unexpected opportunity. "Hairstyling is one of humanity's oldest forms of cultural expression." The next 2 hours of what should have been intense trade negotiations instead turned into an enthusiastic discussion of human hairstyles. The Murrow were particularly entranced when James showed them holographic images of Earth's various hair art competitions. By the end of the day, Earth had secured not only trading rights but also a cultural exchange program. The final agreement included a clause specifically requesting human hairstylists to visit Murrow space stations for what they termed artistic demonstrations. As James prepared to leave, Senior Ambassador K3 approached him one final time. "Representative Okonjo, we believe humanity will bring something unique to the Galactic Council." Their massive feline face broke into what appeared to be a smile. "Your species has an unexpected gift for making the cosmos a more beautiful place." James touched one of the beads in his hair, thinking of all the diplomatic scenarios he prepared for. None had involved his hairstyle becoming Earth's first interstellar cultural export. Captain Maria Torres stared at the tactical display as 5 massive Krax warships emerged from hyperspace, their distinctive blade-shaped hulls gleaming against the darkness. The colony ship Pioneer carried 2,000 sleeping settlers and Earth's hopes for its first extrasolar colony. Now those hopes seemed to be evaporating like stardust. "Multiple weapon systems powering up," Lieutenant Park reported, his voice steady despite the tension. "Their energy readings are off the charts." Maria squared her shoulders. "Wake up our defense grid, but don't activate weapons yet. Open a channel." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a Krax commander. Their scaled face featured elaborate ceremonial scarring, and multiple cybernetic enhancements glowed along their jaw. "Human vessel," the translator processed their rumbling voice. "You have entered." The commander stopped mid-sentence, tilting their head in confusion. A soft sound had caught their attention. "Sorry." Ensign Chen covered her mouth, trying to suppress another sneeze. "Allergies." "What?" The Krax commander leaned forward. Was that delightful sound? Maria blinked. A sneeze. The other Krax officers visible in the background abandoned their battle stations, crowding around their commander's chair. Their species apparently lacked the ability to sneeze, and they found the concept utterly fascinating. Could the fearsome commander actually looked sheepish? Could the small one do it again? Ensign Chen glanced at Maria, who nodded cautiously. The ensign's next sneeze sparked a wave of excitement through the Crack's fleet. Their ship's aggressive formations dissolved as they maneuvered closer for better observation. "Such efficient respiratory clearance," one Crack's officer exclaimed. And the sound, like a miniature solar flare. The next hour became increasingly surreal. The Cracks, notorious for their conquest of 3-star systems, requested a cultural exchange focused entirely on human respiratory behaviors. They were particularly enchanted by the fact that humans could sneeze in response to bright lights. "Your species initiates respiratory events by looking at stars." The Crack's commander's cybernetic enhancements pulsed with excitement. "Magnificent." Maria found herself explaining the photic sneeze reflex to an audience of battle-hardened Crack's warriors who listened with unprecedented attention. When she mentioned that some humans could sneeze multiple times in succession, several Crack's officers had to sit down, overwhelmed by the revelation. "We cannot allow such precious beings to travel unprotected," the commander declared. "The Pioneer now has a Crack's honor guard. We will ensure your colony ship reaches its destination safely." As the Crack's fleet took up protective positions around the Pioneer, Maria received an unexpected request. The Cracks asked permission to record what they called respiratory events for their cultural archives. They considered human sneezes to be works of art. "Captain," Lieutenant Park whispered, "did we just gain the protection of the most feared warriors in this sector because Ensign Chen has allergies?" Maria watched as the Cracks ships coordinated their shield harmonics to better protect the Pioneer. "Sometimes diplomacy comes in unexpected forms, Lieutenant. Though I doubt anyone back at command predicted we'd make first contact with the Cracks through a sneeze." Ensign Chen looked mortified yet proud. "Should I update my service record to include accidental diplomatic breakthrough as a skill, Captain?" "Update away, Ensign," Maria smiled. "Update away." The Volox Research Institute towered over the terraformed plains of Europa, its crystalline spires reflecting Jupiter's eternal storm. Inside, Dr. Ilara Smith tried not to fidget as 3 Volox scientists circled her, their multifaceted eyes reflecting different spectrums of light. Each wore what appeared to be a floating array of holographic research instruments. "Fascinating," Chief Researcher Volox commented, their bioluminescent patterns shifting with excitement. "The muscular microcontractions are perfectly synchronized." Ilara maintained her smile, though it was becoming slightly strained. She'd been demonstrating human expressions for the past 2 hours. And this emotional display, another researcher, Malox, waved their sensory appendages. "It occurs naturally, without genetic engineering." "Yes," Ilara explained for what felt like the 100th time. "Humans smile instinctively when we're happy." The third researcher, young Clocks, nearly dropped their instruments in excitement. "And it's contagious. Look, I've documented 47 cases of spontaneous smile replication among nearby humans today alone." The Volox, despite their mastery of genetic engineering and evolutionary manipulation, had never encountered a species whose emotions could spread through simple observation. They found the concept utterly captivating. "Dr. Smith," Volox's voice became formal, "would you be willing to participate in a controlled yawning experiment? Our preliminary data suggests a 78% transmission rate among human observers." Before Ilara could respond, a junior human researcher walked past their lab, yawning after his late-night shift. Like a wave through the institute, 3 other humans in the corridor yawned in response. The Volox researchers burst into such intense bioluminescence that the lab's automatic filters had to activate. "Did you record that?" Volox demanded excitedly. "The cascade effect. The perfect synchronization. Clocks, prepare the quantum imaging array." The next few weeks transformed the Institute's focus entirely. The Volox, renowned across the galaxy for their serious dedication to science, became completely absorbed in studying human emotional expressions. They documented everything from genuine belly laughs to slight smirks, from dramatic eye rolls to subtle eyebrow raises. Their most groundbreaking discovery came when they realized that even their own species, after prolonged exposure to humans, began showing signs of mimicking emotional displays through bioluminescent patterns. This changes everything, Velox announced during the Institute's annual conference. Humanity's emotional resonance transcends biological barriers. Their expressions create a quantum field of shared experience. Ilara sat in the audience, trying not to laugh as the usually stoic Velox scientists gesticulated with unprecedented enthusiasm about the mathematical beauty of human giggling. The final research paper, titled Quantum Entanglement of Human Emotional Displays, a revolutionary study in cross-species empathy, became the most cited work in galactic scientific history. The Velox officially classified Earth as a protected site of extraordinary scientific importance, though everyone knew it was really because they couldn't bear to risk losing access to what they called humanity's emotional symphony. You know, Ilara mentioned to Velox during their final research session, on Earth, we just call it being friendly. Velox's bioluminescence sparkled in what had become their attempt at a smile. Perhaps, Dr. Smith, that is what makes your species so remarkable. You've mastered quantum emotional physics without even trying. The grand amphitheater of the Etheri Cultural Exchange floated in space, its transparent walls offering a panoramic view of swirling nebula and distant stars. Inside, elementary school teacher Emma Davidson struggled to keep her 23rd graders in an orderly line as they prepared for their performance at the first Interstellar Arts Festival. The Etheri, beings of pure energy who naturally existed as floating orbs of light, hovered around the human children with intense curiosity. Their colors shifted through various spectrums as they communicated. These small humans, the Etheri cultural minister pulsed in gentle blue waves. They will demonstrate your species' traditional movement patterns. Emma nodded, trying to stop Tommy from untying Sarah's shoelaces. Yes, we thought sharing some children's dance games might help showcase human culture. The Etheri had mastered space travel before Earth discovered fire, created art that could alter the fabric of reality, and composed symphonies using the harmonics of black holes. Now they waited with unprecedented anticipation to see what these tiny humans would share. Okay, everyone. Emma clapped her hands. Remember what we practiced. Let's show them the hokey pokey. The children arranged themselves in a circle, their excitement evident in their bouncing movements. The music started, and 20 young voices filled the amphitheater. You put your right hand in. You put your right hand out. The Etheri's collective glow intensified. They watched, transfixed, as the children performed the simple movements with pure joy. When the song reached, you do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. The energy beings began to pulse in rhythm with the music. This is, the cultural minister's form sparkled with delight. This is genius. The perfect combination of movement, instruction, and communal participation. By the third verse, several Etheri had joined the circle, their energy forms attempting to mimic the children's movements. When they tried to put their right hand in, they created spectacular swirls of light that danced through the amphitheater. Look, Mrs. Davidson, Sarah pointed excitedly. They're dancing with us. The Etheri's participation transformed the simple dance into an extraordinary display of light and energy. Each turn created cascading waves of color that rippled through space, visible from neighboring star systems. When the children taught them Ring Around the Rosie next, the resulting light show accidentally became visible from 3 galaxies away. The mathematical precision, one Etheri scholar pulsed excitedly, the way it builds community through synchronized movement. How long did it take your greatest minds to develop these protocols? Emma tried not to laugh. Actually, these are just games we teach children for fun. The Etheri's collective glow almost overloaded the amphitheater sensors. The idea that humans created such masterpieces of interactive performance art for their young ones led to an immediate declaration. Earth's children's games were classified as advanced cosmic choreography. As the children taught the increasingly enthusiastic Etheri the chicken dance, Emma watched the ancient, powerful beings attempt to wiggle and clap along with her students. Somewhere, she thought, her college dance instructor was either laughing or crying at the fact that humanity's first major cultural contribution to the galaxy was the hokey pokey. "Mrs. Davidson," Tommy tugged at her sleeve, "can we teach them duck, duck, goose next?" The Aethericultural minister lit up like a supernova in anticipation. The annual Galactic Species Classification Conference was normally a sedate affair, but this year's meeting had thrown the entire committee into chaos. Dr. Marcus Wong, Earth's representative, stood before the assembled alien scientists as they debated humanity's official categorization. "Order, please." Chief taxonomist Exrith's tentacles waved for attention. The crystalline being's surfaces flickered with bureaucratic frustration. "We must approach this systematically." "They achieved faster than light travel," argued the Zentari representative, their crystalline form glowing. "That alone qualifies them for Class A Advanced." The Murrow delegate's tail swished in disagreement. "But have you seen them when they're sleepy? The way they rub their eyes and make those little sounds. Clearly Class C precious." Marcus cleared his throat. "If I may point out, humanity has made significant technological and cultural contributions to the galactic community." Oh. The Cracks warrior bounced in their seat, cybernetic enhancements blinking excitedly. "Show them the sneezing footage." The holographic display activated, showing various humans in mid-sneeze. The entire assembly cooed in delight, completely derailing Marcus's carefully prepared presentation about human achievements. "Look at their nasal reflexes." The Volox scientists' bioluminescence patterns sparkled. "The autonomic responses are perfectly synchronized." Marcus pinched the bridge of his nose. "Perhaps we could focus on our diplomatic achievements, our arts, our philosophy." Speaking of arts, the Aetheri representative pulsed brightly. "Observe this recording of their young performing the sacred ritual of duck, duck, goose." The conference dissolved into chaos again as various species argued about their favorite human characteristics. The Zentari insisted that human sleeping patterns were mathematically adorable. The Cracks maintained that human sneezes deserved their own classification category. The Murrow presented a 30-minute documentary about human hair care routines. Finally, Exrith's tentacles drummed against their podium. "We require a new solution. Clearly, humans possess both advanced capabilities and," they paused diplomatically, "endearing qualities." "What about ORAPS?" suggested a junior classifier, their antennae twitching nervously. "Rapids?" Marcus asked, dreading the answer. "Remarkably advanced precious species," the junior classifier explained. "It acknowledges both their achievements and their delightful nature." The suggestion sparked immediate approval. Species after species voted in favor, many adding their own observations about humanity's unique charm to the official record. Marcus watched in resignation as humanity's grand entrance into galactic society became officially documented with phrases like "displays remarkable innovation alongside irresistible behavioral patterns" and "combines technological advancement with exceptional snuggling potential." "Don't forget their entertainment value," the Cracks ambassador insisted. "Just last week, I watched a human become excited about finding a lost sock." A sock. It was beautiful. The classification passed unanimously. Earth became the most visited planet in 3 spiral arms of the galaxy, with tourists hoping to witness humans in their natural habitat, displaying their unique combination of advancement and adorableness. As Marcus prepared to return to Earth with the news, Exrith approached him. "You understand, Dr. Wong, that this is actually a great honor. No other species has managed to be both impressive and endearing." Marcus sighed, but couldn't help smiling. "I suppose there are worse things than being classified as both remarkable and precious." "Indeed," Exrith agreed, then added hopefully, "Before you leave, could you perhaps demonstrate one of those human yawns we've heard so much about?" Ambassador Naina Patel faced the holographic display showing the approaching mechanical fleet, their angular ships casting long shadows across the stars. The mechanical collective had emerged from deep space 3 days ago, ignoring all standard communication protocols and advancing steadily toward populated systems. They've rejected communications from 12 species, her AI assistant reported. The Crack's battle fleet is standing by, but weapons seem ineffective against their shields. Nina watched the tactical display, noting how the mechanical ships moved with perfect precision. Have we tried all frequencies? Even the Aetheri couldn't establish contact, the AI confirmed. The collective appears to be running purely on logic protocols. Nina straightened her sari, an idea forming. Request permission to approach in a single shuttle. No weapons, no escort. The gathered alien representatives erupted in protest. The Zentari ambassador's crystalline form flickered with concern. Ambassador Patel, they've shown no interest in communication. Exactly, Nina smiled. They've seen our military might, our advanced technology, our logical arguments, but they haven't seen our humanity yet. The small shuttle approached the massive mechanical fleet, broadcasting on all frequencies. Nina's voice was calm as she spoke. Mechanical collective, I am here simply to understand. No weapons, no demands, just one being reaching out to another. For long moments, silence filled the void. Then, a mechanical voice responded. Approach detected. Purpose, unclear. Logic, inefficient. Not everything worthwhile is logical, Nina replied. Sometimes we do things simply because we care. The mechanical ship's scanning beams intensified. Clarification required. Care is not a functional parameter. May I show you? Nina asked, and then she began to share stories. She told them about children leaving out cookies for Santa Claus, about people adopting elderly pets knowing they wouldn't have long together, about scientists spending lifetimes searching for answers they might never find. The mechanical ships drew closer, their sensors focused entirely on her shuttle. Behavioral pattern. Irrational, the collective announced. Yet, intriguing. Request. Additional data. Nina spent the next hours sharing more examples of humanity's capacity for caring beyond reason. She told them about hospital volunteers who read to coma patients, about people who name their houseplants, about space explorers who risk everything just to see what's out there. The collective's responses began to change, their perfect formations shifting slightly. These actions defy optimal efficiency protocols. But they create something else, something we cannot quantify. That's the beauty of it, Nina smiled. Not everything needs to be quantified to have value. The mechanical ship's lights flickered in new patterns. We wish to learn more about this care protocol. It appears to be a form of advancement we had not considered. Within days, the crisis transformed into the galaxy's most unusual cultural exchange program. The mechanical collective became fascinated by what they termed humanity's illogical optimization of social connections. As Nina watched mechanical beings learning to tend gardens and name stars, she received a message from Earth. Ambassador, her AI assistant announced, the Galactic Council wishes to add, remarkably skilled at making friends with absolutely anyone to humanity's official classification. Nina laughed, watching a mechanical entity carefully water a potted plant it had named Steve. For once, she said, I completely agree with their classification. The newly constructed Galactic Friendship Center in New Delhi sparkled under Earth's morning sun, its architecture blending human warmth with alien aesthetics. Inside the main hall, Director Aisha Rahman watched the most unusual gathering in human history unfold. A group of Zentari crystals refracted sunlight into rainbow patterns while they learned Earth dance moves from a teenage breakdancing crew. Nearby, a Crack's warrior recorded themselves sneezing. They had finally learned to simulate it, while Muro diplomats compared hair care tips with human stylists. Even the mechanical collective had sent representatives who were earnestly attempting to understand the concept of group hugs with guidance from human instructors. Quite a change from 5 years ago, commented Dr. Sarah Chen, now Earth's chief of Science Relations. The woman who had first encountered the Centauri was visiting for the center's inaugural celebration. "Remember when we thought we needed to prove our toughness to the galaxy?" Aisha smiled, watching an Aetheri teaching the human child how to create light sculptures. "Instead, we proved our friendship." Sarah gestured toward a corner where Volok's scientists were collaboratively working with human researchers on what they called the quantum theory of hugs. The main doors opened, admitting a fresh wave of visitors from across the galaxy. Some came seeking diplomatic relations, others for cultural exchange, and more than a few simply hoping to witness humans being humans. Earth had become the galaxy's favorite gathering place, not for its military might or technological advancement, but for its inhabitants' genuine warmth. Director Roman, a junior assistant, hurried over. "The Mechanical Collective is requesting permission to establish a garden of emotional algorithms in the East Wing. They say watching humans tend plants helps them understand caring better." "Approved." Aisha nodded, but suggests they include some Earth children in the planning phase. Their chaos theory always adds an interesting dimension to mechanical precision. Across the hall, a newly arrived alien species watched in fascination as a human grandmother taught their diplomatic delegation how to knit. The rhythmic clicking of needles somehow transcended species barriers, creating a moment of shared peace. "You know what the Galactic Council said last week?" Sarah asked, her eyes twinkling. "They're considering making pulling a human an official diplomatic term. It means turning a potential conflict into a friendship opportunity through sheer charm and genuine care." Aisha laughed. "We've come so far from worrying about being taken seriously. Turns out, being genuine was more powerful than being intimidating." The hall filled with a mix of human laughter, cracked sneezes, Centauri light shows, and the gentle hum of Mechanical Collective members attempting to sing "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star." Earth had found its place in the galaxy not by conquering or competing, but by connecting. "Next month," Aisha mentioned, "we're hosting the first Galactic Family Game Night. The Murrow are particularly excited about Jenga." Sarah raised an eyebrow. "With their claws." They'd been practicing with chopsticks to improve their precision. As the sun set outside, casting warm colors through the center's crystal walls, representatives from 100 worlds shared stories, snacks, and smiles. Humanity had achieved something unprecedented in galactic history. They had made the cosmos feel like home. "You know," Sarah said softly, watching the interspecies gathering, "maybe being classified as precious wasn't so bad after all." Aisha nodded, noticing how even the most serious diplomatic discussions now included comfort food and casual jokes. "We didn't make the galaxy fear us," she agreed. "We made it love us. And somehow, that worked even better."